everyone, welcome back to Body Haven Soaps. My name is Darlene. I am the owner and creator of Body Haven Soaps, and the whole goal of this channel is to help fellow creators create. So today's video is going to be on making a deodorant. Now, a deodorant is something that I have had many requests to show some formulations for. There's a few different deodorants I make. Today's deodorant is going to be on a natural detox deodorant. So it's got activated charcoal, and clays and things like that in it, that we'll go through the ingredients throughout the video of why we're using them and what they do in this product. However, that's what today's video is going to be on. It's a very popular thing now, natural deodorants. That's why I have available a few different kinds, because not one deodorant works for everybody when we start to go with the natural stuff. We all have a different pH balance, so we do have some types of natural deodorants work for some people, some don't. This is what I found throughout all my testing and making deodorant bars and coming up with my formulations. Is really, everybody's an individual. And really it comes to the pH balance underneath the arms that is going to create it. So a lot of times when I have somebody start to use a natural deodorant, you're not going to see that work immediately. It takes a few weeks of using it. So this particular deodorant, through all of my testing, once my testers started using it, they'd have to apply it a couple times a day. After a week or so, all of a sudden it was working. So it just takes time for that pH balance underneath the arm. This is my concept of it. But however, I'm not a scientist and all of those kinds of things. But that's my experience throughout all of my testing in my bars for my deodorants is, usually when somebody switches to a natural deodorant, it takes 2 to 3 weeks for the underneath the arm, the pH balance to start to balance out, where we're not seeing that huge bacteria underneath the arms creating that odor. So no natural deodorant works immediately, not that I've experienced, not that I have formulated and tested. It is one of those things where you have to go through the process of getting the body used to using that natural deodorant. So that's one thing that I do know with the natural deodorants. However, this is one of my most popular deodorants. So let's get into the video. Okay, so the very first thing you're going to want is something that you can put into a double boiler system. You could absolutely melt this in a microwave. That would work. I would just do it on really short bursts until it's almost all melted, and then stir until it's completely melted. Or do it on a double boiler, stirring it until you have a clear consistency. Okay, so I'm going to do it in the double boiler method. I have my heat-proof sanitized container here. So we are going to start with coconut oil. We're going to start with coconut oil, okay? So the coconut oil really helps with odor control. It is and it does have an antioxidant. It helps with moisturization. I really do like coconut in my underarm deodorants for those reasons. So it does really help with the odor control. So we have 60 grams of the coconut oil. Okay, and then we have our cocoa butter. Now, cocoa butter is going to help with the making this solid. Cocoa butter is highly moisturizing, nutrient dense, and it really just helps with firming up the bar and adding that nice glide to the bar. I am using just the refined wafers because I'm not looking for the coconut smell, so we're going with the refined. And I have 15 grams of cocoa wafers. Okay, and then we are using shea butter. Shea butter helps with the moisturization and brings a lot of nutrients to this bar. And I have 15 grams of organic refined shea butter. And then we have our wax. Now, The wax obviously helps with the solidity of the bar and stuff. I'm using a beeswax, but you can use different waxes if you wanted to make this vegan or what have you. They'd all work the same in this recipe. And we have 15 grams of the wax, and I am using beeswax in today's recipe. And then the other wax I'm going to use is going to be rice bran wax. Now I really like this wax for in my underarm deodorants. It's a little softer wax than, say, a beeswax, so I use a small amount of the beeswax to help with the stability of the bar. But I use the rice bran because it just really reduces the greasiness, the greasy feel within the bar. It really helps with that. And it really gives a nice smooth glide to your underarm deodorant. So rice bran, we have 24 grams of the rice bran wax. And I just get mine from Soap or More out of Calgary. And then the last we're going to add is fractionated coconut oil. Now, as I said, I really like coconut in this, and I do use just some regular coconut oil in there. But if we used all coconut oil, it would still really have that greasy feel and it not absorb into the skin as well. So I do use a fractionated coconut oil in here, and I'm putting 72 grams of fractionated coconut oil. And that is all of our oils and butters. So I'm going to set this in the double boiler and start melting it down slowly. And then once this is all melted down, I'll bring you guys back and we'll continue with our ingredients. So now that we have all of those ingredients melted down, we're going to start adding in our active ingredients and our dry ingredients and stir until they're done, to make sure that I don't have all of the little lumps and chunks in there, because with this and the dry ingredients, we want to make sure that we're not having those huge lumps in there that are really hard to break up once you get everything in here. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to add is going to be magnesium hydroxide. So magnesium hydroxide, just really helps with the odor neutralizing, and this is the whole reason we are putting this in there. And I have 15 grams of the magnesium hydroxide. I'm just going to put it into this little sieve just to make sure, oops, that I don't have any of the lumps and chunks in there, because it is, once stuff clumps up in here, it is hard to mix in. Okay, and then we are going to put in our baking soda. Now, it is a very small amount of baking soda in here. We are only doing 18 grams. And that helps with the odor neutralizing and stuff. This bar is really good for sensitive skin. And a lot of my other main recipe, I don't even use baking soda in. This is the only one that I do. I like to stir stuff in between so it's not lumping. Okay, and then our cannelin clay. As we all know, clays are amazing things. It really helps with creating that nice smooth glide. Most clays absorb moisture, absorb odor, but I use a cannelin clay because it's very gentle and easy on the skin and really helps with the glide of this deodorant bar. And then we have our arrowroot powder. Our arrowroot powder simply helps with the smooth feel of this. This is just a texturizing ingredient, really. I find without the arrowroot powder in there, it's got more, I don't know, almost stickiness. This really helps with the greasy feel and the nice glide on the skin as well. So you can tell we're adding a lot of ingredients that bring properties as well as the feel of this bar onto the skin. And we have 9 grams of the arrowroot powder. Then we have zinc oxide. Now, zinc oxide, we're using a very small one. It is a common ingredient in a lot of natural underarm deodorants. Zinc oxide, it reduces body odor by killing bacteria that the body produces. Can also increase the skin surface pH, which is what we're looking for in a natural deodorant, is to balance that pH of the skin so that a natural deodorant actually works. So this is the purpose of it, is it really helps with neutralizing odor and balancing the pH underneath the arms. We have 3 grams. You do not need a lot of this. I get mine from Voyager soaps, but I'm sure a lot of, no, not Voyager soap, Soap and More out of Calgary. But I'm sure a lot of places sell it. And then the detox part of this is going to be our activated charcoal. So activated charcoal is known to draw impurities out, and balance things. It's a well-known product used in a lot of things. It does not leave your underarms a dark color or anything like that, but it really just helps with absorbing that bacteria and moisture that creates the odor. So I really like the activated charcoal. This is the one that I use, this underarm deodorant myself, and I find it, I've been using it for a number of years and I find it amazing. But the activated charcoal, that's the whole purpose of this, is to draw in the bacteria and also absorb. It's very absorbent. So we are putting in 1.5 grams. You do not need a lot. I'm not going to put this through the sift. It's quite a light powder. Okay, and that is all of our phase 2 ingredients, our dry ingredients. We're going to stir this all together. And it is a gray colored deodorant, but it does not leave dark underneath the arms or anything like that. It does not stain the clothes that I've ever experienced. And you don't need a large amount. The 1.5 grams is less than 1% of this batch recipe. So now you're going to take your time and make sure that you stir these in really well. Just stir, stir, stir until you see no more lumps forming. We do have quite a few dry ingredients in here, so it takes a minute. This deodorant bar is one that you are definitely going to want to pour while it's still fairly warm. It does set up quick, as you can see here on the spatula. I keep my hot water bath going so I can just set it in there and help solidify it. So I can just set it in there and get it to a pourable temperature as I'm going through the process. Whenever I'm using a double boiler, I always keep it running just on the safe side. Okay, I feel like that is mixed in there well enough. We'll check our temperature to make sure that we can put in our other ingredients. Okay, so we are at 130 Fahrenheit so we are going to put in a small amount of vitamin E. It helps with the shelf life, preventing oils from going rancid. It's also great for the skin. as most people know vitamin E is. And I am putting in 3 grams of the vitamin E. I'm also putting in, and I get this from Pure Blend's organic suppliers, and it is licorice root extract. Now, licorice root extract helps with lightening the skin color underneath the arm, and I use it in a lot of my deodorants. It's a natural lightener, and that is the reason why I put that into my deodorants. So we are putting in here 1.5 grams of the licorice root extract. You don't need a lot. And then you could fragrance this with multiple different essential oils, or even a fragrance if you wanted to make different ones to match other products that you're creating. But the essential oil that I will be using is going to be bergamot. Okay, bergamot is very good for underneath the arm. A fresh little crisp scent to it, and it is well-known essential oil for underneath the arms. And we are going to put in, for this fragrance oil, essential oil, we are going to put in 1.5 grams. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is getting pretty thick. So this is going to have to go back on my double boiler for a minute just to solidify a little bit, because this is getting too thick because it's cooling off on me. And at this point, because we have all of our cool down ingredients in there, I would not suggest a microwave, but you can see how thick this is getting. So we definitely need to melt this down. So I'm going to put this back on the double boiler for a couple minutes, get it back to the texture I need, and then we will pour them. Okay, that only took a couple minutes. That bergamot smells so good in there. This is my go-to underarm deodorant. Absolutely love it. It's actually one of my best sellers. Okay, so we got this back to that pouring consistency, and we simply just grab our deodorant tubes, whichever style you are choosing to use, and we are going to pour and fill. Okay, so that's simple. This formula or recipe that I've provided you gives us 3 underarm deodorants. It solidifies really quick once you pour it. And then I have a little bit left over. When I have people place orders and things, I like to put little samples into people's parcels. I will simply just take this, scrape it all down, because you can see how fast that solidifies in there. Like so. And I will take some smaller ones. Now once this all sets up, that is what they look like, all set up, completely cooled. Just a nice light gray bar. I will take the rest of this, put it back in my double boiler, and I do my little tiny sample ones that I stick in people's parcels. So it's kind of designed so that I can have a little extra in this recipe, but we get 3 full bars and a little bit. Okay, all right, so that's kind of today's video, and I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you have any more questions, just comment below, and I'll do what I can to answer them for you. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and have a great rest of your day.